Here.
This dual camera bullshit. Can you hear me now? Because I can hear you,
I can hear you, but they can't
but
hear
they
us.
can't hear us.
Yeah.
All right. Um.
Okay, now they can hear us. We're good.
Okay.
What was it? Just one button?
The mute button wasn't even on.
That's weird. That's sus.
Well, I guess you didn't hear me, so I can start that over, which isn't a bad thing because I sounded tired. But welcome to the Pop Culture Corner live. Today's podcast is with me and Saggy. And make sure to smash the like button, share the show on social media, and if it's your first time here, welcome. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to support the show further, you can send a super chat and or become a member of the channel. And I'll send you pictures of Logan, who is very gracefully begging for more treats. So, I just wanted to open up the show today. So I hear something bad happened to Enosh. And Enosh is a good friend of yours and mine. So maybe you could explain, break the ice a little bit, and we can talk about that because from what I've heard, it's one of those like cancel situations.
Yeah, sounds about right. That'd be probably the best way to describe it. Yeah, people can't be themselves online. I guess that's what it just comes down to.
As long as I've known Enosh, he's never swore or said anything that is remotely like would jeopardize his standing as anything.
Right.
He doesn't allow. I mean, he doesn't mind if you do, but he won't do it directly. So I don't understand what the problem is now.
Honestly, I have no idea. It's one of those situations where it's like it's one thing if you were doing something to make a company look bad, right? Cool, but the situation, from my understanding, was just seemed it was his lack of doing something about what somebody else said.
Okay, so can you explain the situation entirely though, if it's possible, without like being in trouble, like with him? Does he did he?
I don't know if he's talked about it, to be honest with you.
Austin said he did.
Okay, so if he did, as far as I know,
because that's the first thing I asked.
The explanation that was given to me was he had a stream where somebody said the D word, DICK, and
like a male genitalia.
Yes, and somebody else said it. He didn't correct them, or he didn't kick them, or edit it out or something, and that was the biggest thing. And I'm just like, do y'all not watch Enosh's streams often? Because there are worse things that have been said on that stream.
I've personally said worse things than that.
I personally said worse things. So I'm just sitting there like, do you not watch these streams? And even if that's the case, it's like...
And thank you, RJ, by the way.
Oh,
I really appreciate it.
How's it going? Oh, RJ, thank you.
I saw some pictures with RJ and some wrestlers, and he looks like he's having fun, man. I really enjoy RJ. He's such a good person.
Somebody has to.
What a terrible thing to say. That's your girl, RJ, man. She's talking smack.
Yes.
You might have to backhand her. But okay, so continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. It was actually RJ who interrupted. So
yeah.
But no, I think overall, yeah, it was one of those things. Enosh does so much for that job. And he's the sweetest person. He would give you the clothes off of his back.
Really?
So, like, the fact that this was something that lost him employment over something, just it's like it's hypocrisy first of all. Because if anybody knows where Enosh works, you know it's hypocrisy.
Yes.
It sounded to me like that maybe somebody was just trying to push him out, and they used that as like a reason to do so. Because again, Enosh has made it very vocal that his job knows he does YouTube and all that stuff. So they know what he does. They've known what he's done for a while. And where was the judgment at that start? But now all of a sudden it was a problem. So yeah, I think overall, I think it sounded to me like somebody was just trying to push him out, and they use this as a means to do so, which sucks because Enosh is an amazing person, and he definitely deserves so much love and support because that's what he gives to everybody else. So. Yeah,
and shout out to Enosh, man. I hope you get back on your feet soon. I know what it's like to not work, and it's tough because a lot of people think that YouTube you can pay your bills.
Yeah,
that's not always the case.
It's only,
It can be.
Yeah, it can be. If you're getting, because I calculated, if you're getting at least 100,000 views on a video, that's a decent income. That's like at least maybe
That's
$1,000.
yeah. But that's coming from an advertising
Right.
standpoint.
That's just from advertisements. That's what I'm saying.
Super chats is really like, and Enosh does get a lot of super chats, but he also has 3 kids, a wife, and a house.
And a dog.
Like, there's no way that unless he's pulling in $300-400 a night, that he's going to be able to afford what he has.
Right.
And to lose your job over that puts you in a tricky situation. So if he needs anything, I I've gotten help before, so I'm down to help with whatever he may need. I did want to show you guys something. So I've been dealing with this thing with Google. So I'm locked out of the YouTube account. I can still stream, but I can't go into the YouTube. I can't make any changes. I can't monetize my videos right now.
What?
Yeah, if anyone noticed. So I haven't really been talking about it because it's not a good look.
Right.
But and we'll get into the pop culture stuff, don't worry. I got it all. I got it all right here. But we'll get into it, I promise.
Yes.
But I got locked. So my phone number changed. You know this because I told you.
Yeah.
My phone number changed. 2-step verification though, because the channel's monetized, because of all that, because there's money coming into it, they made me do the 2-step verification. So it sends you a code to your phone.
Right.
And then you type that code in and then you're in. I changed my phone number.
Right. So you could do that.
And I was like, okay, that's not going to be a big deal.
Right.
Right? There's other ways. It sends the backup email to the email that I'm trying to access. So it sends me in a circle. No, I don't have access to that phone number. Okay, we'll send you an email. And then it sends me an email to the Gmail that I'm trying to get into, which is the one that's tied to YouTube.
Right.
And you can't call Google. They don't have customer service. They make you go to these forums and try to figure out the problem there.
Did you do the YouTube support? Because that's how I get all my help for these things.
It's the same thing. There's no customer line.
No, there's no customer line, but there's an active chat in the studios.
Well, I can't get into the studio.
Oh, you can't get in the studio.
Because I can't I'm literally dogged. I was thinking I almost hired a hacker. I was this close.
Do you have do you have another like a YouTube account that you use?
Yeah.
You can contact them through that YouTube account.
Right.
If you have access to that studio, you can explain to them the situation and they should be able to help you as long as you can get in touch with them.
Right. So Google, I've been berating them on social media. And they finally sent me this. Hi there. We'd like to move this conversation to DM. Please follow us and let us know when you have so we can share next steps. So hopefully this gets solved this week.
Hopefully, because that's crazy.
Yeah. So for anyone that has a YouTube channel, make sure you take the proper steps to ensure that you will not be locked out of it ever, because this has been the most trying and painful thing.
Especially when you're monetized, because you can't monetize your things and you're not getting paid for the stuff you've already generated.
Yep.
And they don't compensate.
The only way that I'm getting paid right now is through super chats. So if anyone wants to help out, it goes a long way right now, because this has been such an expensive issue for me.
Right.
Losing money, losing time. I can't do SEO, so I can't actually so SEO is search engine optimization. So I can't even optimize the videos to reach a broader audience. I can't do anything right now except for stream through StreamYard because it was already connected to YouTube. And this has been a very, very, very difficult problem that I'm having. So for anyone out there that don't make my mistake, don't change a number before you properly take the steps to ensure your channel's safe. So yeah, pretty terrible. But that is my little icebreaker for the day. I know you got some little drama, not drama from you.
No.
But you have some stuff that's going on in the industry that you would like to talk about.
Yeah.
I was actually just listening to Dave Chappelle the other day.
Listen, it's a hot topic and it's crazy.
You were literally on the show. You shouldn't be giving money to the show. Okay. Thank you, Saggy. I appreciate it.
For the
I
cause.
appreciate it. For the cause. Yes. Because if Google doesn't solve this, I will hire a hacker. I will hire someone to hack Google.
Everybody.
So
Right. And
if
no,
anyone knows Mr. Robot, let me know.
right.
I'll hire him.
And no, I did it because I'm a YouTuber, so
That's
I
a
know.
tough
Right,
predicament.
it's a
It's a
tough
tough
thing when you
predicament.
see YouTubers, fellow YouTubers, kind of having issues with the platform.
I wish. I thank you for having my back on it.
Of course.
So what's going on in the world of comedy?
A comedy. Well, I
He's
know
the goat of
he
comedy.
is the goat.
He is the
And
goat.
some of you guys in the chat, I know you guys have heard this because you see me talk about it. We're gonna talk about it here for people who don't know or whatever, and also to get Ty's take because he didn't even know this was happening. So just to give the recap, Dave Chappelle did a comedy special on Netflix called The Closer, and he made some comments in regards to J.K. Rowling take on basically transgender people and stuff, and how she basically said transgender or gender is a fact, which Dave kind of made his comments during that stream that kind of upset a lot of people, and a lot of people that acclaim that say they work for Netflix. I'm not doubting they do, but people who work for Netflix were so upset. They're like, I'm leaving, I'm not going to work for the company anymore, and everyone's upset.
Oh,
Dave Chappelle
God.
and people just completely missed the ending where he explained why he made these jokes or why he was talking about these things, because he had a transgender friend who took their life after the first time he made transgender jokes where people tried to cancel him before, and she came out and defended him, but then shortly after she had taken her life, and she was a fellow comedian, he bonded with her, and even her family right now is defending him, but people are trying to cancel him.
Good luck canceling Dave Chappelle, by the way.
Right.
They've tried and it didn't work.
Right. And he also,
because he plays into it. He's so
Right.
smart.
But he also said, Ty, at the end of it, he's like, listen, I'm done making these type of jokes because I want to make these jokes when the LGBTQ community can laugh with me and we can laugh together. And he said, I'm not making these jokes after tonight. And it's like kind of like sad because it's like for a comedian, I think at this
It's
point,
limiting your speech, first
Right.
off. Second off, right? If the LGBTQ community wants to be equal, right?
Mhm.
I make fun of straight people.
Right.
Like comedian, like I'm a big Joe Rogan person. Huge Joe Rogan fan. And he talks about it all the time.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. He's a local guy. And he made it in podcasting and he's shown the way for a lot of people. But regardless, he has spoken about it before, saying, if I can't make fun of you, I mean, if I can make fun of a straight person or a straight white male, you want to be equal, then I'm making fun of you too.
Right.
And we should all be able to laugh together because at the
Right.
end of the day, they're just jokes. We're just
Right.
having a good time. We're trying to get you to laugh. Most of the time, the comedian does not believe in that. Like,
Right.
it's not trying to demean you. It's just trying to have a good laugh.
Right. And it's like that's what it is, but it's sad that I think comedians are starting to realize like comedy is kind of dying because of these things, because it's taking away from what made them blow up in the first place. Like if they're not allowed to make
Being
fun
edgy.
of being edgy, making jokes and stuff. Lisa Lampanelli is a perfect example of a comedian who literally made her career making jokes about black people,
Literally.
being a white woman.
Talking about how, and she talks about how she intercourse a lot with black males.
Like Lisa Lampanelli is a hilarious female comedian. At the time, she lost a lot of weight, but at the time, she was a big white woman who would always make jokes about black people, different people of culture, and people laughed and they thought it was hilarious, and she was hilarious, and everybody from every race loved it when she roasted their specific race or when she pointed to the person in the audience that represented that person that she was going to clown on. They loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that now.
What a world! What a world we live in.
It's pretty sad, but what's funny though, Ty, as I said, it's really funny the outrage these people had over what Dave Chappelle said, but does nobody remember Cuties?
What?
Does nobody remember Cuties? When the Cuties was on Netflix?
What is that?
You didn't hear? Oh my goodness, you didn't hear about the Cuties thing?
No.
So
what is Cuties?
So the TLDR, it was a movie that was made in France that came out, and it was about girls, but there were some scenes that were very suggestive with the girls and very cringy. The promotional poster for Cuties was these young girls, like we're talking like 13 years old, in very skimpy outfits and in suggestive clothing, and it was a big thing. And people were so mad at Netflix, like, oh, you need to take this off. And Netflix stood by their artists for this. But again, people are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna cancel my Netflix because they're having these children on there dressing like this and dancing like that." Nobody canceled their damn Netflix. So if you're not gonna cancel your Netflix over cuties, which I think
That's why I always say this. Boycotting is not an action anymore.
no,
It's a threat.
it is. It's a meaningless threat.
Yeah, it's an empty threat.
It's an empty threat. Like for instance, when I boycotted Disney, I didn't ever pay for Disney. So that's why I was behind on all the stuff. But I still don't technically pay for Disney because RJ hooked a sister up.
Oh
So
God, RJ.
what? I've been binging all the Marvel shows that I've been missing, and I hate myself because I hate Disney, but I love these shows. It's very conflicting.
No, boycotting. It's a joke. It really is a joke. Like a lot of people talk about boycotting boycotting DC, but they're still gonna go out and see DC films.
Of course.
Like that's just the way things happen,
Of
and
course.
that's just the way things go. You'll be interested in this. There is a Squid Game style video game potentially in development.
I'm not surprised. There are a couple of them that exist right now, like fan made stuff. They're not that great, but
Video games?
yeah, there is one I saw a YouTuber playing, Dashi XP or Dashi Gaming. He was playing a Squid Game. He was playing Squid Games that he found like the fans made, and one of them was the peekaboo one, or
I haven't seen
sorry,
the
not
mo- I
peekaboo
haven't
one, the
seen
red
it.
light green light one. Sorry. So the red light green white one was a game that somebody made that you could play.
Okay. So, but would you play a video game like this? How could they adapt this into a video game?
I would say they could adapt it to a video game, but it'd be kind of like a Fall Guys kind of type thing where they'd have the games that you played in the show, or you saw on the show. I think they can make a game out of it. I'd play it. It'd be interesting, but it obviously would be like a process elimination type game, which would be quite annoying.
Right. I mean that show movie,
Show.
that show is blowing
Oh,
Netflix up. Like I am so, and I don't know, is that a good thing? Is it a good thing? I think it might be a good thing that foreign films are starting to get like things that are not in direct English
right.
are getting a lot more, like Train to Busan, all those other movies, the horror ones that are like in another language. There's a lot of stuff that's on Netflix that's getting a lot of attention that's not English.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing for other countries, Hollywood,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah, it is because like someone like me who's big into anime, Japanese stuff, I've seen a ton of those things. So it's kind of nice for people who have been fans of like Korean dramas or Korean work or Japanese dramas and Japanese work to see it blow up. Like it's kind of like when Gundam Style became a hit.
Yeah, that's that song, right?
Right. And like a lot of people who were into K-pop for a long time, like I was into K-pop way
What is
back.
K-pop?
Korean pop music, basically.
Okay.
Like BTS and like Korean music. But I was into that K-pop music like a long time before Gundam Style hit. So I was kind of like a little mad at the same time because then you have all these people getting into K-pop and stuff like, oh my God, Korean music is fire. And then it's just like, dude, I was listening to Korean music like back in the early 2000s.
Right. But is there something to like not understanding it?
I mean,
because I know you don't like. I don't know a lot of people that like speak fluent or can understand fluent Korean.
Right.
Right. There's just it's a language not a lot of people like take in high school.
Right.
Or
same like Japan.
Yeah. Stuff. So is there something about like they always say music is a universal language. Yes. Right. So is it the feeling that it gives, or is it just the beat? I can't listen to it.
I think when it comes to music, it's the beat, the way it's song. Like even if you don't understand the words, it's still a song that like you can enjoy. Like with Gangnam Style, what made Gangnam Style hilarious is number one, the guy who sang it was kind of like a portly Asian guy.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it had a catchy tune and it had a dance. And that was the thing. It's like you didn't have to know what he was talking about. For people who didn't know, like Gangnam's a city in Korea. And it's like it's kind of like Gangnam would be compared to like like where all the rich people live, like a fancy place, like a shopping district, like it's where all the money is.
Okay.
So it's like New York, Gundam.
New York is not rich. They're part like
Well, they have
Greenwich
they have-
Village is rich.
Okay, well that place. Oh, I always think New York. Well, rich. I say rich because it's expensive to live in New York,
It
regardless.
is. It's hella expensive out there.
But Gundam's like a very popular, like very known, wealthy-ish, like where all the celebrities go to shop and crap.
Okay.
So that's what the song was like kind of about. It was like mocking that area, but people don't know that because they don't, but the song itself, like you don't need to know that to enjoy Gundam Style because so yeah, it's not a thing. But yeah, no, I love seeing Korean films and films outside because here's the thing. Right now in the US, guys, our entertainment is not like creative or unique anymore. It's always a remake of something or
a
it's
reboot, a
right,
sequel,
a sequel or something
a rehash.
Right.
Yep.
So like having these new films that are literally new is great.
Yeah, Squid Game I think is a representation of that too, is because a lot of people are digging it, and they don't. It doesn't. The bad English dub doesn't matter because it's just a good story to be told. And I want to watch it, but I have a hard time with it.
For the record, y'all think that is a bad English dub. For us fans of these types of things, normally like anime, that is not a bad English
Well, what's
dub.
someone was saying, I think it might have been RJ actually, you're saying that there's two different versions. One of them's better than the other.
For what
The subtitle like thing. I don't know. Maybe RJ can enlighten us. There's, instead of just hitting English closed caption on Netflix, you hit it on your TV or something. I don't know. There was something to it. Someone will know.
There was an English dub that when I started it was default, and then there's closed caption. The only time I've ever the closed. Listen, guys, for the record, just
yeah.
note.
Speak into this, Brett.
Oh, speak into
turn
this.
it to you.
Turn.
Move it.
Well,
Fix it.
I have the pup here playing with my feet. I'm trying to move the cord so he rolled on the cord.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
I'm gonna have to Joe Rogan you. He always tells the guest, talk into the microphone.
I don't want to talk into the microphone.
Do you use a microphone at home?
I do, but my microphone is like not like this.
This, yeah.
This is.
Cool. I have many variations of microphones.
Really
These are the ones I like though.
Yeah.
Because they're XLR and I have another XLR one, the black one that's like it's what I want is the Shure's, the SHURE, Shure. Those ones are, but they're super. The two of them is like runs you like 600-700.
Yeah,
so,
I bet. No, this is a nice setup. Like this here is awesome.
Mm.
It's great. You guys have no idea the experience of being in a studio doing a stream when we're so used to being so separate from each other.
Yeah, I missed it. Justice and I did our first show. We had one small table over there, and we had a green screen behind us, and that's how we did the first one. So we did it long ways. The camera was over here, and it came down to here. I've since changed a lot of stuff.
Wow.
But it is. That's just what I do. I'm constantly changing things.
I'm like that too. Like if you look at my YouTube channel, you see where it started. I changed everything, like from my thumbnails. Like I'll do thumbnails a certain way for a while, then I'll change it up. Then I'll find something else I like. I change it up, and then I change my intros all the time because I get so bored.
Yeah, and just to prove that we're in the same room, see this pen? Now it's on Saggy's side.
Yeah, we are in the same room. I could literally like touch him. And I also have the doggy right here, which is great.
You know why people don't think it is because it's such a drastically different look.
Yeah.
It's drastic.
Well, that's because everyone's used to seeing you here.
Yeah. And this side of the room is that because underneath this wood is blue, just like the other walls, except that's the accent wall. Me and my ex painted it. It's since started like chipping. But yeah. So yeah, Squid Game style video game potentially in development. That's from comicbook.com.
Comicbook.com.
I like them. I like them over at comicbook.com.
Yes.
Here's something for you 90s people. I'm a 90s kid too. But remember that 70s show?
I heard this.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, remember that 70s show?
Yes.
Well, they did try to do a spin-off after,
Yeah.
and it was called That 80s Show.
Yeah.
It lasted one season, and it was god-awful.
Terrible.
But Netflix is developing That 90s Show, and let's face it, the 80s sucked.
The 80s did
For
suck.
comedy and like style, it sucked,
Oh,
right?
awful.
And that 70s show made a living off of making fun of the style and the music that was around in the 70s. The cast was stellar as well, so that just kind of topped everything off.
Right.
But the 90s, so Kitty and Red will be back. The parents.
In the 90s?
Yeah, they're going to be grandparents
Oh.
of the kid. So it'd be Topher Grace and the other girl, the Foreman and the redhead, their daughter.
Donna. There we go.
Yeah, Donna. Their daughter is going to come back to Point Place, which is where they lived, I think. I think it's called Point Place. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. But they're going to, so their daughter will come back to Point Place to stay with the grandparents for a summer. And that's where the show kicks off.
See,
and it's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yes. But see, that's what they should have did with that 80s show. See, when I heard about that,
it was too quick.
But not even that. It wasn't related at all to that 70s show. Like, I would have liked, and they should have done this. They should have had that 70s show end and then enter the 80s with the same cast, but now in the 80s, because they would have still technically been around in the 80s. So it would have made sense. And then you can go to that 90s show because but the fact that the 80s, that's why the 80s, that 80s show flopped. It was legitimately had nothing to do with with that 70s show, and that's why it flopped.
Yeah. And no one cared about it.
Right.
But I don't know if you guys, anyone here noticed, but like Peacock is doing so many like reboot things.
Oh yeah.
Like they got that iCarly one, or no, is it iCarly? Then someone thought it was a good idea to redo the Fresh Prince, which honestly shouldn't be done.
That wasn't Peacock's thing. The story behind the Fresh Prince is this guy. He's a new guy, just not a big wig person. Just decided to do a different take on it, and post it online. And then Will Smith saw it or caught wind of it, and Will Smith liked the idea. And Will Smith actually helped the guy get the show on Peacock. So Will Smith endorses it. So if Will Smith is like,
yeah,
let's do
but
it.
It's a show that shouldn't be touched.
I
don't think so. I don't think so because they're not like continuing it. No. They're straight redoing it.
Right.
And it's like, this show didn't need a redo.
Right.
You could continue the story in some form or fashion, but you shouldn't redo it. The original is iconic. That's like remaking Seinfeld without Seinfeld. Right?
Right.
It's dumb.
I mean, it's like a completely.
Am I off base here? Maybe someone could say, should the Fresh Prince be remade? Yeah. No. Right? There's no reason to remake a show that was literally perfect. But
I don't think it's like them trying to really fully redo the show. I think it's just a different interpretation, making it more real and less comedic. I think that's where they're going with it. Because from the trailer actually looks not too bad.
There's a trailer for it already?
Yeah, that's how it started. There's a trailer.
Oh.
It doesn't look too bad. It's an interesting take on the Fresh Prince. And like I said, if Will Smith
endorses it,
Will Smith endorses it and he thinks it has an interesting story to tell, then I'm
RJ is saying that there's some breaking news.
That you took a shower?
Oh God. So there's a poster for the new Scream and our first look at Wonka, which I am about to go find right.
Another one.
This is the one with Timothée Chalamet. I'll look it up in a moment, because, but I would love to see the first look at Wonka. Is it a trailer, RJ, or is it like a picture, like our first look picture? If it's something like that, then I'll wait. But there's Austin. What's y'all? Awesome setup, looking great. Yeah, it's the same setup as always, man.
Except
now you can see both sides though.
Yeah.
So all right, so cross out that 90s show. We got that Squid Game. Oh, here's something else. So do you know the Eternals, right? You know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who Kamal Nanjiani is?
No.
No? All right.
I'm good with faces, not names. I Logan. I bite my toesy.
Logan, stop it. Let's think about doing it. So usually I'll trap him out of here.
No, I like it. He's not biting hard. He's nibbles. He nibbles. He's a good doggy. He's a good boy.
This is Kamal Nanjiani.
Oh, okay. Wait.
But that's not what he's looked like forever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But he transformed his body to get in shape for the Eternals, just like every superhero, right? Most superheroes tend to do like the Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans regimen, get really big for these superhero roles, right? He is not comfortable talking about his body transformation because I'm pretty sure that he used hella steroids. And in order to look like this, I'm sorry, but the way he looked before, that would be like me looking like that 3 months from now. Homeboy, I'm sorry, but you used some steroids. It's not a bad thing.
No, it's
People tend to think steroids are bad.
No.
But it's bad because sports has made us think that steroids are bad because performance enhancing drugs help athletes be better. When you're getting in shape for a movie,
right. And the thing people don't understand is steroids are used by doctors to
There's a lot of different kinds of steroids.
There's different kinds of steroids.
I take a steroid.
Right.
Because I have Crohn's and I it's a Humira and a steroid but there's different types of steroids.
Right, exactly.
So, but the performance enhancing kind is it's widely looked upon as not a good thing.
Right.
Because of baseball, typically.
Right.
Baseball and other sports that have conditioned us to think that using them gives you an unfair advantage.
Right.
But that's not true. If you take steroids and don't work out, you're not going to really get bigger.
Or if you work out on one part of your body and nothing else, and you get bigger only.
Yeah.
I saw a guy who
you still need to put in the work.
Yeah. He had the skinniest legs and the biggest torso.
Yeah, because
very weird.
I bet he was a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Bodybuilders don't really work their legs. They work their upper body, the torso region. I've worked with several of them. But yeah, so I mean, Kamal Nanjiani is just he's very not open about it. But other people have been really open about it.
Right.
Like even Chris Evans. Like Chris Evans, come on, man. Like he's always looked kind of good, but he got huge for Captain America. Chris Hemsworth, always been big, got huge to play Thor. Like these guys aren't just in the gym the whole time. They're probably using some drugs. And that's not a bad thing. Do what you got to do, boo. Right. But I mean, this guy, like, he's just like, I don't know. I guess to each their own, but he's just very protective about it. Because people keep asking him, dude, how'd you do this? Because I want to know. Like, I want to do it. And he's like, oh, I just in the gym. Or he won't comment on it. It's like, well, you probably use some drugs.
It's possible, but
it's not possible. It is 100%. Hold on. Maybe you can start.
I mean,
see, this is why I need Kate in here.
Well, no. Here's the thing, right? When it is, everybody's body's different, and I'm not saying you're wrong. It is. I could see him taking a steroid because it does help with, especially the short time frame. But like, for example, I had gallbladder issues. I could physically not eat much at all. And in 3 months, I lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, when you don't eat, typically.
Right. But like when you're working out, it depends on like your diet, how much you're working out. Again, you could bulk up like that if you are actively working out every single day, maybe taking a day off for 3 months. It is possible.
You also need to have a body that is able to do it. Like I would never look like that.
That's also true.
I'd get like tone, but I would never be Chris Hemsworth. I'm not built that way. It's not possible for me.
Right.
Or like guys like Austin, me on Austin, we have really high metabolisms and we're skinnier and that's just how it is. But guys like Chris Hemsworth that have that mass can do that. So you also need the body for it too, because everyone's body's different. So,
right.
It just depends. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think that people should be ashamed of it?
No,
Of this?
no. I don't think when it comes to steroids, like people take dietary supplements all the time.
Yeah, people get plastic surgery to
Right.
look different.
Like it's not the end of the world if you took
At
steroids.
these steroids, it's still your own body.
Right. And you're doing it for a role so you could look apart, and that's not, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. And the thing about it though is his part, he's in this like outfit the whole time. Theoretically, he probably didn't need to. I mean, he probably wanted to be just because, like, his arms show.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he took it the extra mile, and I think that's a good thing. I would be more open to talking about it.
Because they're skin tight suits, basically. Listen, if I have to wear a skin tight suit, I am definitely like getting rid of the little chunk here, guys. Okay, now you guys can see the little chunk. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't say weed was a drug.
Weed is not a drug. It is an
Marijuana is not a drug.
It is a herbal supplement. It's herbal.
I like Anthony Beltre. Steroids are great. Yeah. And then Lewis again. Don't do drugs, kids. Yeah. So Casey, the editor, the GWW, says that he's using HGH and testosterone replacement. HGH is, human growth hormone is the stuff. So it just seems weird that he's so protective about it, because like you could say no, I didn't all day long, but you can look at the guy and be like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Like Joe Rogan is an expert on it and says that he definitely used steroids.
Right.
Joe Rogan says I use steroids. Joe Rogan says I use steroids.
Yeah, but Joe Rogan's not like an A-list actor celebrity.
He is an A-list celebrity now.
No, he's an A-list celebrity, but like an actor. He's not an actor. For some reason, the rules are different for athletes and actors, where like it's a big no-no to admit you're doing something that's perceived as cheating or looking wrong. Like they need to have this image for the public where it's like, no, steroids are bad. We can't do it.
Yeah, Casey, coming to my aid here. Thank you.
Wait, what happened?
He said you can't look like that without it. They all use HH.
I'm sure they do. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. So as far as athletes, so I have a cousin who was, I don't know if he still is because we're not that close, but I have a relative who was in the NFL, and he got tested negative for, I'm sorry, tested positive.
Was Uche your friend now?
No.
Because I don't know if anyone knows this, but Saggy's a huge Geeks and Gamers fan now.
Oh wait, yeah, I am. I actually have the hoodie.
Oh my god, you bought a sweatshirt from them?
I did.
Oh my god.
It's legit. Oh no.
All right.
But no, Mike.
Did he sign it for you and everything?
No, well, you don't sign a hoodie.
Why not?
Because then you'll never be able to wear it again. Because then if you gotta wash it, there goes the signature.
Yeah, well, his signature's worth dog shit anyway.
He'd have to stitch it. Listen, it's gonna increase in value.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to increase in value.
Yeah, because Jeremy's the next big thing.
Listen, they're at 300 subscribers. They're gonna be
finally
the next big thing.
They're at what?
300,000.
Right? Yeah, I'm not saying he's not big, but he's not a celebrity.
Listen, he got noticed in Boston by people, like walking around. People are like, "Is that Jeremy from Geek?" Like he got noticed. That when you can start getting noticed when you're
no, I get it. He's a personality. He's not a celebrity.
Well, he's getting there. He's getting there.
Not for the right reasons.
Listen, we can argue that, but he's still a notable. He's more famous than me. More famous than us. Not as famous. He's not as famous as Logan though. Logan's
you're telling me. But yeah, so Geeks and Gamers, yeah. How are they doing these days?
I started watching some of this stuff because I think at this point I had to depend less on what my friends critique them on, because that's the only time I ever really watched their stuff. So far, I mean, I've seen some of the stuff.
He's really not a terrible content creator.
No.
Some of his stuff's just like he's putting on a show. He's edgy, you know. He's putting. At least I hope he doesn't act like that in real life.
No, he was really sweet. I mean, he made jokes, which like if you weren't in on the joke, clearly you would take it seriously. But when I was there, like they were, taking their shots at, all the people that I, hang out with, like Matt Jarbo and, Mad Max and stuff.
Mhm.
So, they were taking they were taking a little of their shots, but we all together laughed it off. And they're like, honestly, like it's not that deep. Like they even were like, it's not that deep. Jeremy straight up was honest. He's like, I don't care that people criticize me. I care when they're saying lies about us, like when they're labeling us certain things because
Well, like a hate group.
yeah, like basically, like if you call right, because I don't think they
Come
are.
on.
They hate, and
They might be a hate group,
they hate certain things in entertainment.
and a lot of it has to do with women.
Women and people of color. Is that what you're saying?
The track record's not.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not. This isn't a full defense because I'm actually going to be opening up on my stream an official debate about geeks and gamers because I've been getting so much like heat from people, and all the jokes like, "Oh, Saggy's geeks and gamers." I just met people. I spent 4 hours with them guys. Give me a break.
Mhm.
But my point of it is like, I understand part of their argument. Okay, there are instances where the entertainment does like decide, well, instead of having a character that we want to introduce for the first time, right, we're gonna make that character a woman all of a sudden.
Oh no, I really don't
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff.
Right, that's the stuff I can get on board with their mindset because there is a slight problem with wokeness in entertainment. I will give them that, and I think a lot of people can see that themselves as well. I can honestly say from the other side, like people like you and some people in the chat who are critical of geeks and gamers, I can understand why the way they go about it, the way that they say it in almost everything, that can get annoying and frustrating because I will agree. Not everything has a woke agenda. Geeks and gamers believe otherwise, and that is fine. But I will say that they do sometimes get it right. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When they had that debate with Enosh,
The famous one.
I could see it from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only time that I ever like looked at Jeremy and was like, there was a couple instances where I was like, I bet you won that.
Mm-hmm.
But Enosh won a lot more of them, I think. With what he was saying, like the constant trolling of Kathleen Kennedy, dehumanizing her, making her out to be this villain with red eyes. Brie Larson, same thing. It's the red eyes, the omega beams coming out of the eyes. Like they may not think that maybe they don't think that they're doing something wrong, but they are dehumanizing these people to where people now, like if I put red eyes on you and called you this, that, and the other thing, ideas are the most dangerous thing. Ideas, I'd say, are the most dangerous thing that a human can possess.
Right.
And when you do something like that, and you constantly throw it down 300,000 people, their necks, all of a sudden they don't look at Kathleen Kennedy as a human anymore with a family, with a daughter, with a whatever. They look at them like this evil corporation mumbo that's trying to ruin Star Wars.
Right.
So that's what I have a problem with.
But the thing is, it's like, this is YouTube. And all of the people who are watching people like Geeks and Gamers themselves, they can talk about how much they hate Disney and how much they hate Kathleen Kennedy. They're still going to show up to the theaters to watch the movies and the stuff and buy the merchandise. If you look at their streams, they have a bunch of Disney merchandise.
Why are you
new
whispering?
Stuff. I don't know, because I like whispering.
Check out ASMR Saggy Melonz channel.
But no, honestly, the same people who are saying the stuff you said or feeling the way they feel about Kathleen, they still have Disney Plus. They're still watching all the movies in the theaters. They're still buying the merchandise. So at the end of the day, they're really not hurting Disney like people think they are. They're really not hurting Kathleen Kennedy's position at Lucasfilms. If anything, they're like, the audience is just, I just want to be mad. Let's just be mad together. But they're still watching the stuff. Like I said, the whole thing with Gina Carano, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Everyone was saying, we're canceling Disney Plus because they fired Gina Carano the next day. So this is our review on WandaVision. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. You can't tell me that they're really hurting this. They're literally still supporting it, bro. They just talk a lot of crap.
Yeah.
That's
Some
it.
would argue that they did influence Solo, Star Wars, the Star Wars story, that they did influence Solo's box office somehow, some way.
I don't believe
I don't know if it would go that far, but like Enosh has gone out and say that they've influenced it in a way, which I'd have to see more data and more analytics about it.
Right.
But I mean, it's possible because, like I said, if you say it to 300,000 people, they tell it to another 100,000, right? Another 300,000, then it just snowball effects. Like, whoa, I'm not going to go see Solo because my friend who's really expert in movies said it's going to be a trash film and that Kathleen Kennedy's out to destroy the
they
fucking
all
brand.
Still saw it though. That's the thing. They
Yeah.
all still saw it because they review it, right? So they have to see it. And if it's in theaters, they want to be the first to see it. So they have to see it in theaters. So
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. Like, you could disagree, but Geeks and Gamers, regardless if they are saying, they are still supporting it because they want to be the first to review these movies. Like Venom.
Right.
Jeremy was out in Boston, still seen Venom, right? Because they have to talk about it because this is their commentary. They review these things, and whether they say how much it sucks or they hate it, they still spent the money on the ticket, so they still supported it.
Right.
So I'm sorry, but like, that's just what they do. They can talk trash about these movies all they want. They still see the movies. They're still giving Disney the money.
Yeah. Speaking of, because now I'm down the rabbit hole. Speaking of it, so I've gotten a little bit of pushback because I decided that I would bring Taylor Murphy on.
Who?
The Culture Nerd. Lightcast.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh no, I'm doing it. No one tells me what I can and can't
Don't
do.
do it.
No one, not a single person.
Logan, tell him.
My mother could barely keep me contained.
So if your mother called you and said, don't do it, you'd be like,
My
nah, I'm
mom's-
still doing it.
My mom's gone, but
Oh.
she could.
Mine
barely,
is too. I still call her, though.
Yeah.
It's very weird conversation.
Yes. No, but Taylor is done some things, and when I was a young YouTuber, young podcaster,
Mm-hmm.
I was happy that I got to talk to Matt and Taylor
Mm-hmm.
because it felt nice to me,
Right.
right? As a person with low view count,
Right.
I got to talk to them, and it made me feel nice. It made me feel special.
Right.
And then all this other stuff happened, right? And I always defended them
Mm-hmm.
until I found out,
Mm-hmm.
until I was shown the way, basically.
They showed you the way
Yeah, the back door, through the back
through
door.
the back door.
Not they didn't tell me themselves, but I found out in different ways.
Right.
So I'm bringing Taylor on because I'm going to ask him the questions that no one else will do.
Good. I mean, if he's willing to come on, then good. I was literally
He
joking
is.
about
I've
not
approved.
bringing
I've got. We're in the middle of approving certain questions and
him. Right.
other ones, but for the most part, he's willing to talk because he wants to clear his name.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
He wants. This is what he says. He wants a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
He has done some dirty things in the past,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Actually, Casey would know best. He created a fake Casey Twitter or something like that.
What?
Yeah. GWW and the Culture Nerd had like a little war at one point.
Lol.
But we gave Matt Jarbo a second chance.
Right.
Right?
Everyone should get a second chance. But also, I would say, because I don't know if he's watching, but I would say everyone, the person,
Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But Casey is.
Well, Casey is. So I will say, if everyone deserves a second chance, because everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone has done something that someone else has perceived as a shitty thing. Let's be real. Regardless if you thought it was a shitty thing, everyone has done something that somebody else was mad at. Cool. But I'd say what we could learn from like the Matt Jarbo situation, you might be able to kind of get other people to forgive you or to get to know you and move forward and move past the stuff you've done in the past. But you're not going to get everyone. You're still going to have people who won't ever forgive you. Matt Jarbo literally still has people hating on him for something he did 3 years ago. So that should show you, you can try to be better, but not everybody is going to give you that chance. And that's just something you have to accept. So if you have to want to clear your name or at least tell your story, I think it's great. I think that you letting him do it on your platform is fine. But I hope he understands that that doesn't mean that everyone's going to just forgive you and move on.
No, and but Matt, like Matt from Lightcast,
Mhm.
conned everybody.
Yeah.
I think, and this is me personally,
Mhm.
I think that he even conned Taylor a little bit to a degree.
Maybe.
Taylor was definitely complicit in a lot of it,
Mhm.
and he knows it.
Right.
He's admitted to it.
Right.
But I also think that Matthew played the long con with him.
Could be.
Because there's a difference between conning me or you,
Right.
right? Through channels and means that we don't interact too much.
Right. Right.
But when you con someone who's that close to you, you're playing the long con,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And then Matt went out scorched earth style, scorched earth, literally just burned every bridge there was,
Oh yeah.
and threw everybody under the bus,
Everybody.
including, I don't really care for Nicotina. Everyone knows that. I don't. I don't like Andre that much. I just have my thing. But I even felt bad for Andre. I like Dawson. I like ACS. And Zerafet, who I really don't know too much. But
Yeah.
I don't like Andre's style. I don't like what he does. But I even felt sorry for him.
Yeah, that situation was crap. I can honestly say, I love the four nerds. They're great. But yeah, that situation was just a dumpster fire, and I don't blame any of the four nerds for that. They wanted to do something
different and cool.
Yeah, different, cool,
and
positive,
listen,
and for the fans.
I've seen some of it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some of what happens, and like it just made me sick.
Yeah, that.
But moving on. But yeah,
Move
so
on.
I'm gonna be doing that next weekend. Next after DC Fandom, the day after.
DC
So you won't be here next weekend, basically, unless you want to do DC Fandom with us. Speaking of, let's plug that now. So next week is DC Fandom. As everyone knows, it's 5 days away. DC Fandom is going to be such a fun event. I'm a huge DC guy, even though I noticed that the stuff behind me doesn't really signify it. It's mostly a Marvel backgrounds right now. But I have a bunch of stuff that's like sitting around because I haven't totally put but I got a mother box there. There's stuff all around here. You just can't see it all. But yeah, so next weekend is DC Fandom, as everyone I am already sure knows. But Jack, myself, and Austin will be hosting a live showing of DC Fandom. So instead of watching it by yourself, come and watch it with us. We're going to be changing the reins. So like I'll host it for a while, then I'll take a break. Austin will host it. He'll take a break. Jack will host it, and then so on and so forth. If you want to get in on that, then you can. It's going to be really fun. We've had good track record with these kind of conventions before.
Yes, we remember.
No, just we have a good track record with all of them.
Yeah.
All of the ones that have happened.
Yeah.
Even Netflix Day, even though that was a train wreck.
Yeah, it was. I remember
that was the most boring convention I've that was the most boring global fan event that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I thought I was watching the foreign one. But yeah, so that's gonna be really fun. And then Austin's gonna be moving on and creating his own channel, Little Big City. So if you want to get over and subscribe to that while it's being created, definitely do that. He's gonna be doing the last 2 Lean On Me's for the next 2 Mondays, and then he'll still be co-hosting Jive with Jack for the foreseeable future. So he'll still be around, join us on some panels, and I'm gonna do everything I can to help him on his transition. So I won't lie, I wasn't too happy about it at first, but I've since moved on because you can't hold toxicity in your heart, right? It's a bad thing to do.
Yes.
So,
especially when it's friends.
when you're holding a resentment. So now I'm looking at it from a different point of view. I feel grateful that I could be part of why he wants to do this continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
So
love Austin.
it's a good thing to, it is what it is.
Love you, Austin.
Yeah.
I should do ASMR, but I need a good mic like this. This one is what I need for that because it sounds great.
Well, we're gonna do a whole show in ASMR.
We should do a whole stream just
Yes.
talking like this the whole time.
Next up, John Bernthal. If he never returns as Punisher, would he play a good Wolverine?
No, I don't.
All right. Actually, that is the next topic.
I know it is.
So, I saw this article, and it was talking about John Bernthal and potentially playing Wolverine. Nothing confirmed, obviously. This is just purely speculative. But it got me to thinking, if I think they should bring him back as Punisher. I think it's an easy win for fans and John himself and for the cinematic universe. But if they decided against that and they didn't bring Punisher back, which is more likely than not, do you guys think that he could play a good Wolverine?
No.
Get over the Hugh Jackman thing,
No,
everybody.
It's not even the Hugh Jackman thing. I love him as an actor. Loved him in Walking Dead. Rest in peace, Shane. And I loved him in Punisher. He doesn't have the look or the for me the personality to be an accurate Wolverine for me. And yes, I understand Hugh Jackman. That's huge. That's some shoes to fill. But it's we've had actors before who we looked at and like, dang, I can't see anyone else playing that character but this person. And then we got Heath Ledger's Joker. So I mean, I don't think he's like the one for Wolverine. I would say I'd be very skeptical if they did go that route, but I think there could be somebody else who can do it better.
Who?
I don't know.
Guys, let me know in the comments who you would have play Wolverine and if John would actually be a good Wolverine. I think that he could adapt to the role. I think he's got the brute force, like that natural, like I don't know, there's something natural about him and playing aggressive characters like that. I think I still think he's a better Punisher. Hands down a better Punisher. But if they wanted to adapt it and keep him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but unfortunately not as Punisher, I think maybe the next best thing would be Wolverine. And we're all looking for a good Wolverine to follow up with Hugh Jackman, because let's face it, no one's really going to top Hugh Jackman.
Right.
In the sense of like that Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man feel. Like he is the Wolverine.
Right.
But we are going to have to move on.
Right.
It's over.
I don't think John can do it though, because he has the roles he's played, right? Punisher.
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'm gonna die.
so he really is gonna die. I've been watching him die. But honestly, his role as the Punisher and Shane from Walking Dead, it's like built up aggression, right? It's not like Wolverine's like roar type aggression that Wolverine usually has. Like Wolverine can be a normal and chill, but usually in battle he's immediately aggressive, just off the bat, just going at it. With Punisher and Shane, I feel like John's roles have been like he could be aggressive and crazy at some points, but not all the time. I think he would overplay that part. And now you made me want to get a drink. I'm gonna get a drink now. Well, my bubble tea's over there. I'm gonna go get my bubble tea. Oh, look, he's a gentleman. Guys, he's such a gentleman. Look at him. He brings it to me like a gentleman. Take notes, man.
But yeah, I'm all for John Bernthal. Who else they got? Who else were they speculating?
I don't know.
There's a couple people that were speculating as Wolverine, and there were some good ones. There were some good thoughts.
Kit Harington.
What? No.
You know nothing, Wolverine.
Logan.
Oh yeah, Logan. You know nothing, Logan. Well, you could call him Wolverine too.
I know Logan just comes off better.
That did come off better when you say, "You know nothing."
You know
Logan.
nothing, Logan.
You know nothing, Logan. Where's
But yeah, I mean, I really personally, I don't think we'll see Wolverine for a while. That's just me. I don't think we'd see Wolverine for a while. What the Christ was that?
what?
Was he showing pictures? He was.
Oh, he was. I thought it was you. Oh, there's somebody just. Okay, yeah. So we got.
Ah, that's already created? Nice. Oh, that's who it was, Taron Egerton.
Oh, he could look for. He looks like he could do it. Oh yeah, that's right. Ambassador Kit is in the Eternals. He couldn't be Wolverine. He's already in a Marvel character.
Yeah. And he's going to be a great Eternals character.
I think it was him. I like Kit Harington. Even when he did that Silent Hill movie, which was okay, it wasn't too bad. I thought he did really good.
He did a Silent Hill movie?
Yeah, he did Silent Hill 2 that was based off. Well, it wasn't Silent Hill 2, but it was Silent Hill that was based off of one of the games.
You know, there's a movie with him. It's like MI7 or something like that. Really good. If I could recommend a Kit Harington movie, that's you probably won't see like on your recommended pages. I think it's Caden. Maybe you can look it up for me. I think it's called MI7, or it's not MI6. It might be MI6, honestly, but I think it was something different than the normal MI6. But it was with Kit. It wasn't a bad film. It wasn't bad. It was kind of like James Bondy, but it was actually done well. I thought it was good.
Have you noticed that a lot of the actors from Game of Thrones is in Marvel movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's at least 3 of them so far. Kit, the actress who played Aya, and is it Sophie Turner?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, they've all been in Marvel movies. So.
And Amelia Clark is going to be, I believe, or is that DC?
Who is she gonna be in a?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I could have sworn that she was tapped to do something in a movie that's coming. Because she did Star Wars, which I thought her role was very boring in Solo.
Everything she's been in outside of Game of Thrones has been not great.
Yeah.
The Terminator one, like.
Secret Invasion. That's right. Thank you. So she's in a Marvel. She's coming up in Secret Invasion. So Amelia Clark as well.
I think a lot of Game of Thrones actors are doing Marvel right now.
It's not a bad transition.
No, it's not at all.
It's not. If you want to go where the money is, then that's where it is, baby.
Emily Clark is just. She's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, she's beautiful, and she did great in Game of Thrones. But everything she's been in since Game of Thrones has not been well received. Yeah. Like the Terminator one, everything she's been in has just been a flop. Which is bad, because she was killing it as Daenerys, but everything else outside of that.
Yeah, but she wasn't the only character, right?
Right.
She had a lot of people propping that role up. Here's so my big topic of the day is about the Flash. Oh boy. But I'm not going to get to it yet. I have a couple more things first.
He literally has a list, y'all.
Including today is the anniversary of when Arrow started. Now, did you watch any of those shows, the Arrow shows?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah? Did you like them?
I loved the Arrow up until the last few seasons.
Yeah, the last season was kind of blah. Especially when the daughter took over.
Oh, yeah.
Like Arrow, like Oliver was not even in the last episode.
Yeah.
I was like, what a train wreck this is.
The season before that, too, I didn't care for. Like the whole future past thing, like trying to figure out what happened. And I'm just like, this isn't uninteresting. I don't care. I don't care about damn kids.
Yeah. The Arrow, I think once they developed a team, like once it went from being Arrow and Diggle and Felicity, once it went from being them to like this giant team of people, which more resembled the Flash and Legends, that's when it got really bad. When they brought in the hockey mask kid, they had Canary, like all 8 different Canaries on there.
They really did have like mad Canaries.
There was like a replica one. There was a multiverse one. There was a dead one. There's the white canary. They had like 18 canaries on the team. And then like I thought the first like 3-4 seasons of Arrow were some of the best DC television to date. And then as soon as they brought in the Flash, as soon as it started like treeing out, because the first season of Flash was really good, but then after that it was just a rehash every time. What other speedster can we use?
Right. What other
Right.
things can we just introduce this season to get people excited?
Yeah, and the Flash is so saturated and boring, and it looks like a little kids TV show.
Well, it's like Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's just a terrible, terrible, terrible. They need to scrap the CW universe altogether.
Aww.
End it on a somewhat high note. They did good. They did well, expanding their universe and building this somewhat Justice League. They just need to end it now.
Well, isn't it right now? So Arrow's done. They only right now, and Supergirl's ending too.
Yeah.
So right now, they're only really gonna have the Flash and Batwoman.
Yeah, and no.
Yeah.
They want to do another show with God, she's from Legends. She talks to the animals. Oh, come on, why can't I think of it?
She talks to the animals.
Yeah, she has like the pendant.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I forget. And then
The
they have
really pretty
Superman and
black one
Lois.
where they brought her back to be a changeling or something like that.
Yeah, and then they have Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah.
Which actually, Superman and Lois isn't so bad. I actually don't mind Superman and Lois. Naomi is what it's going to be called. Yes. So I think that the CW did what it needed to do, but now that HBO Max exists and we see what DC TV can be,
Yeah,
end it.
I agree.
Get rid of it.
I agree. Arrow was great,
but I think the CW would go under if it wasn't for these shows.
What would they have?
All those like tween dramas.
Supernatural ended. So
Yep.
They didn't even have Supernatural to milk off of it.
Did you know Supernatural was voted the best CW show of all time?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dude, it was great. But yeah, now that Supernatural's gone, they don't.
That included Smallville, because Smallville was technically Smallville was WB, but that's the CW now.
Right.
So it did include Smallville. And Supernatural beat out Smallville, which I
believe it.
That was the one I was like, I don't know if I can
Supernatural
contend.
lasted so much longer.
Yeah, but longer doesn't always mean better.
I mean,
but
I'm gonna keep that comment to myself.
Some people say that Supernatural got watered down. I don't, but I thought that every season was necessary.
I think every season of Supernatural was a hit or miss, but it wasn't
the only season I didn't really care for was the season right after Leviathan, season 8, when Sam was soulless. Ugh, get it out of here.
Yeah, that was.
I don't like Sam-driven storylines.
No, I don't either.
I don't care. Aside from when he was the Lucifer stuff.
Yeah,
that was fun. Anything after that was Sam-driven was boring.
Sam was kind of like, I loved Sam, but he was kind of like he had to have Dean around, otherwise he was just dull.
Yep.
Like, no offense.
Agreed. No, I agree. There's no each Winchester needs the other.
Right.
And
they
that's
have
why
to work off each other. If you have one and it's more like the season where it was like half the season with just one of them was like, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, Vixen's her name. Thank you.
Is it Vixen?
Vixen, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Vixen. Yeah, so they're spinning off that.
Why though? Like who?
Yeah, I know. No one asked for it. No one wants it. No one cares. They need to end the CW.
Dude, she's not even in the show anymore. She literally dipped and she hasn't been in it for a while. You have her, the actress who still plays a part in it, but she's like an alien or something that changed into her. So like, no, Vixen hasn't even been in Legends for like the last few seasons. Why?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna address what the ambassador said after, because I'm about to lay into him. But first, we'll talk about what Geek said. Here's the problem with a Supernatural spinoff. It doesn't have the Winchesters, right?
Yeah.
Typically, they've tried to do 3 different spinoffs. Each one of them has failed. It hasn't even got off the ground. You know why? Because Sam and Dean aren't in it. Sam and Dean are necessary for anything Supernatural.
Yeah.
The fans don't care if it doesn't involve those 2 boys.
Right.
Like, that's just the end of it.
Right. You can't even you can do a cast spinoff, but you can't have cast without Dean and Sam.
There's no Supernatural spinoff because, like, yeah, you couldn't even do a Castiel spinoff without Sam and Dean.
You couldn't.
You could not. You can't.
You can't.
There's no such thing as a Supernatural show that doesn't involve Sam and Dean, because the fans didn't come back necessarily for the storylines, they came back for Sam and Dean Winchester every single time, because those two were they're it's like having a Superman show without Superman or a Batman show without Batman. It doesn't work necessarily. Yeah, you could try to spin them off and do something that might build a spin-off, in my mind, it has to supplement the original or the main thing, right? So if you're going to spin off of something, it needs to still be able to supplement what it span off from. In this case, Supernatural. So if it doesn't give back to the overall story of Supernatural and fill in some of those gaps, then is it needed? No. And I think Supernatural did a good job of fleshing its storylines out enough where a spinoff isn't necessarily needed, nor clearly is it wanted. So there you go.
Yes.
An ambassador, honestly, dude, you're just wrong. There's nothing else about it. You're wrong. The numbers alone speak for themselves. It's the longest running drama series, live action, pretty much, with an ongoing story. It's up there with it's with Grey's Anatomy and those
true.
ones. So I'll just let the numbers speak for themselves.
That is true, though.
So,
That's true.
it is what it is. You could think it's bad, but it's just not. So there it is. We can move on.
he wants this battle. You have two.
No, there is, but that's the thing is I won't even argue because there is no battle because
you have two Supernatural fans on this panel, like hardcore fans. I love Supernatural, so I will say
I'm not a fan. I live it.
You live it. You have the tattoo. If you don't have
I
the
actually
tattoo,
do.
you really?
Yeah, but I don't show anyone.
Why? Is it a no spot?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say if it's in a no spot, then I can understand.
It's where they have it. It's right here.
Oh, so
yeah.
Oh, that makes
but I rarely take my shirt off on shows. So.
Yeah. I don't think YouTube is okay. Well, now I think about
with men, I bet they are.
Yeah.
I got that. That was one of my first ones. That was one of my first tattoos.
My first one was this
one. Ha, lame.
Whatever. And I got
and it probably doesn't even mean what you think it means.
No, it does. I had it confirmed. Trust me, I had it confirmed. And then I have this from Sword Art Online for you anime fans.
Yeah. Here's something that I've been thinking about lately.
Yeah.
In early drafts of the Suicide Squad, it was shown that Idris was potentially going to be playing Deathstroke. Right? So in early concepts, it had the team minus Bloodsport, but with Deathstroke, right?
Yeah.
So Idris was they were considering him as Deathstroke, not Bloodsport.
No.
And it got me to thinking, would that have been a good idea? I don't think so.
No.
Because I think Joe Manganiello deserves another shot at this role. That's me personally. The guy who did it, the after credit scenes and Zack Snyder's Justice League and, on the regular travesty Justice League. But what do you guys think the reason they went away from that is? Do you think James realized, I would be stepping directly on the toes of that universe? That would have enraged people.
I think
that would have literally, that would have ended it.
Hold on, pause. I think I gotta sneeze. No. Yes? No. I think introducing a character that most people weren't familiar with was probably the angle. Because I never heard of Bloodsport until this movie. So I think that it was probably a better idea and probably the smart move were like, why don't we just introduce a new character that is similar to the characters that people mostly know and just introduce him in here. And then maybe, too, they can use that character in other works if the character is well received. I always want to say perceived. Received. It's received. I know English words, guys. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that they went that direction because it's a new character most people wouldn't be familiar with already. So they could really go with the story using that character, kind of say stuff. People were bugging out when they had that trailer where he was, they were introducing Bloodsport, saying, he shot Superman and put him in a coma with a kryptonite bullet. And everyone's
Yeah.
like, "What?
Yeah.
That happened? No, it didn't." And everyone's like, "Yeah, it happened in the comics. That's who Bloodsport is. He is known for the guy who put Superman in a coma." So yeah.
Yeah. I like. I don't. I didn't really have a problem with the Superman line
Right.
because a lot of stuff could have happened, and it was just a throwaway line. It was a way to
Right.
get the Justice League mentioned,
Right.
and it was a way to talk about his backstory, which that is the actual backstory. So I think if they had made him Deathstroke, I think Idris probably would have played a good Deathstroke, but it would have James would have been directly stepping on Zack Snyder's shoes and pushing him over. And I don't think that was the intention. I don't think that they wanted to. Maybe the studio was telling him, "Oh no, have it be Deathstroke. People know Deathstroke from Arrow. People know
Right.
Deathstroke from Titans.
Right.
People know Deathstroke from the comics. Use Deathstroke, not Bloodsport. Who cares who Bloodsport is?"
But I also think too they wanted to have a character that was close to Deadshot because they didn't have Will Smith come back. So I don't know if they had plans for Will Smith to come back or they weren't.
It was a
didn't want to.
scheduling
Right.
conflict.
So originally they wanted Will Smith to come back and reprise his role as Deadshot, which would have been great, but because they couldn't get him, I think they wanted a character that was kind of similar to Deadshot, which was Bloodsport. Bloodsport was basically Deadshot, but not Will Smith.
It was a good way to make it work.
Right, and it did work. I think he did a lot better than I gave it credit for.
I like Idris. I like Idris in the Bloodsport role.
Yeah,
I think
so
I'm
too.
still waiting for a spinoff with Ratcatcher 2 and him in Bloodsport. I think that'd be a fire spinoff.
Yeah,
And I think I'm more interested in the characters from Suicide Squad
right.
doing different things. Because Suicide Squad, when I watched it the first time, I loved it. I saw it a second time and I was like, all right, I can see why people are having problems with this.
Right.
It wasn't the greatest, but it was far from the worst.
Right. It was definitely not the worst one. I think I liked it more than the first Suicide Squad because there was a lot more. The story made more sense than the first one.
It sure did.
That's why the haircut needs to be a thing. But this movie made more sense than the last movie. And it had a lot of things that I didn't expect to happen. So,
I feel like you could never actually truly guess what was happening next.
Right.
Like, because then you'd be like, oh, this guy's going to make it through the whole movie. Blah, his head blows up.
Right.
You're like, damn. What do you think about this Peacemaker show?
Is RJ still watching?
I think so.
Let me see. I don't know if I can answer.
I've seen him comment like a couple back.
Okay. Because if RJ's not here, I'm safe.
He hasn't responded in a while, so yeah, you're probably safe.
Okay, I'm safe. I don't care. Peacemaker is not something I give a shit about. Like legit. It like don't get me wrong. Peacemaker, I'll give John Cena credit. I was always dunking on him for his acting, and I didn't think he was gonna do good in the Suicide Squad, but he did okay. He was better than I expected. But his character, like that character seems lame. And in a full TV show based on just him seems lame. Like be real. Would you watch Ratcatcher 2 if she just had a show by herself, or are you excited for it because they're doing it with Idris Elba's?
They're not. That's not confirmed.
Well, I'm saying not, as far as if they're doing that, like, would you watch it by herself or would you watch it with her and Idris Elba's Deadshot?
I don't know.
Because I don't think her character is good enough for a whole show either.
Probably not.
Right.
Probably not.
I don't think Peacemaker is
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. I'm thinking like I put the gun in Apex Legends is called Peacekeeper. So Peacemaker doesn't seem interesting.
I don't know. I think a lot of people don't feel the way you feel about him. I think a lot of people like him a lot.
I mean, I'm sure.
I think more people feel that way than the way you feel, and that's that. He's like the next. He's like the new Rock.
No,
people love to see him and shit, and he adds butts to seats when it comes to franchises and other stuff.
And I don't know how. He's not that great of an actor for me. Like he's very like that comedy movie he tried to do.
With the one on Hulu.
I forgot what it's called. Like,
friends.
it's about the kids, his children.
Oh, cock blockers.
Yeah, that thing. Like, it was funny, but it was funny when John Cena wasn't trying to be funny. Like, there are certain scenes that he did where it made me giggle, but I don't like his acting. But that's just me. I think he's a great guy, and I think he's amazing, and he's got a great personality. But some of the roles he does, I'm not into it. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, that teach their own.
But he did do good as Peacemaker. I will say I over.
I think he has what it takes to lead a show. And I think with the Vigilante edition,
I don't know
boom.
if he can lead the show though.
I do. I know for a fact he can.
If he doesn't, you legit have to buy me a bubble tea now.
They wouldn't have greenlit this
It's
if
John.
he couldn't lead a show.
It's John Cena, like you said. He fills seats. Of course they're gonna do it. Of course they're gonna do it. If he gets people agree that he's awesome and he's gonna be great and he's great, then yes, of course they're gonna get green light that. It's John Cena.
I don't know. Well, we shall see though. We shall see.
If next time you guys see me after Peacemaker, after the first episode.
Yeah, but if you just don't like it because you don't like him, I'm not buying you shit.
I like him. I didn't say I don't like him. I do like John Cena. Listen, I give him credit. He was better in Suicide Squad than I originally thought. I do like John Cena. John Cena, if you ever see, I like you. I think you're great. But some of the roles you take, you're acting as shit. And that's just criticism. I'm not an actor and I don't make money. So you could give a crap what I think. I ain't a nobody. And I mean, I'm just saying that's how I feel. I still love you though, John Cena. Love you forever and ever. And I will buy you bubble tea. But if you watch the first episode of Peacemaker and you think it's crap and you don't think it's good, then next time I'm here, you have to get me bubble tea.
Yeah, I don't see I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good.
I hope not, because I need a free bubble tea.
Well, so on to my last and biggest topic of today.
Woo!
So this is coming from Daniel RPK. And what he is saying is basically that I got the post here. Chris Long Swenson reposted it, and I just used that one right here. So, according to Daniel RPK, the Flash movie will revisit all the DCEU movies and give them an alternate take. WB would use the Flash movie to set up a new Justice League movie. So if true, Barry messed up the timeline so bad that all the DCEU movies will have a bunch of what-if scenarios in a single film.
I mean, that's what they did in Flashpoint anyways. That was literally...
That is not what they did.
Yeah, because when in Flashpoint, the animated one I'm talking about, he went back in oh my God, I can't think of Bruce Wayne's father.
Thomas.
Thank you. Thomas Wayne was Batman, and Martha was the Joker. And
that's an alternate realities.
Yeah,
right. That's tip one domino, and all of them fall. Right. What this is saying is that the Flash will revisit a lot, if not all, of the DCEU films to date, and there'll be some change in it, like some alternate take on it, which will thus set up a new Justice League movie, basically rewriting the timeline. I just, the thing about me is I'm wondering, will the events of the Flash, because Flashpoint at the end of it is fixed, it's done, it's ended, it lasts to one story and that's it. Then there's a little bit of ripples here and there, but for the most part, it's taken care of by the end, right? This Flash movie, which is not a direct adaptation of Flashpoint,
right?
Will they fix it by the end? Or is it better if they leave it broken?
Oh, they're 100% going to probably leave it messed up because they have to erase the Snyder Cut. They have to make that not exist.
Well, okay, so here we go. If this is true, the potential that Zack Snyder comes back and does anything with DC ever again is now zero.
Yeah.
Right? His story's virtually been written out of existence.
Right.
Virtually.
It's not canon anymore.
Right. I guess he could still live in that cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
but by the time they get to it, does he really want to do it? No.
No.
So if the Flash does what seems to be happening, does this kill any chance of a Snyder return? I think so.
Oh, 100%.
And is this a good direction to go? I also think so. I do want to see a new Justice League because I don't think they should dead the team just because Snyder has moved on and Warner Brothers is too stupid to realize what they did.
Right. No, they shouldn't. I agree with you there.
So the best of my worlds, best of both worlds would be Zach's happy at Netflix, but DC also starts to tell good stories. So what do you guys think? I'm sure you guys have a lot of endpoints on this, but so this is another movie that people are pretending that they're going to boycott because we know that they're not. We know that they're not going to boycott because a boycott is an empty threat.
Right. And trust me, if they're YouTubers saying this, they're not boycotting it. Especially if they're YouTubers who do movie and TV reviews or things like this. They're not boycotting it. They're actually going to see it because they need to talk about it. Like I said, they don't ever trust a YouTuber who
because they got that fear of missing out.
Right.
Instead of sticking to their word and being men of their word or a woman of their word, they're going to sneak out to the theater all alone. They're going to wear the Daredevil outfit pre-costume, with the ski mask. They'll wear that out to the theater and they'll sit in their chair and they'll buy everything in cash. So there's no
paper trail.
No paper trail.
He's getting really so I think what Tyler's saying is he's done this before.
But yeah, so I mean, would you want this? So basically, would you want the Flash to rewrite Days of Future Past the DCEU? It's basically what's going to happen.
Do I want
If this is true, the Flash will be Days of Future Past, but for DC.
I mean, they have to do something at this point because.
But do you want to shut that door already?
Well, what else are they going to do? They've literally said numerous times that the Zack Snyder's.
Yeah, but they're not going to be in power come 1.5 more years. So if they shut the door now, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot for later. But do they care? That's the point.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know because the movie hasn't come out. We don't know exactly what they're keeping as canon and what they're taking out. For all we know, and this would be the biggest, ballsiest, best move for DCWB to do right now. Because again, I feel like Zach knows what he wants to do, and I haven't heard him say he doesn't want to do it. So and everyone, like a lot of people saying, be patient, wait. So my theory, and man, if they did this, oh my god. So my theory is they might end it with saying that the Snyder cut is the main story.
What?
Like they might basically do, because you're saying they're gonna visit different worlds, and they might end on Zach's version being the GOAT, being the main version. I don't know. That'd be cool. That'd be a great thing to do, just to end it on like Zach's Justice League being that storyline being canon and just moving forward. Because we have two versions now, remember? So we have the Justice League and then we have the Zach one. They might touch base on that situation too, and then maybe at the end might surprise and be like, hey, Zach's coming back. Zach's gonna be doing the rest of it. Who knows? That'd be a boss ass move to do. I'm just saying. That would be the bossest thing to do for a WB.
I mean, it's far-fetched.
It is, but it would be still boss.
I just think people need to start getting to the. I think fans of DC need to start getting with the idea that maybe it's over. They need to start realizing it's might be dead, and dead is a harsh word to use.
Right.
It might be illogical, improbable of it happening again with Zach and DC.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing. He's happy at Netflix. He's got a good deal there. His whole, it, there's to quote the Flash, you know what I mean? Um, it's all now,
Right.
right? It's all right now,
Right.
not the past. It's all right now.
Right.
So for Zach, Netflix is now,
Right.
and he's happy and he's doing well.
Yeah.
He's got the Rebel Moon, the Army of the Dead universe happening, and he did the thing with DC, and it didn't work. Didn't work. They didn't treat him well. When tragedy strikes, or when something happens, people will show you their true colors, and Warner Brothers showed their true colors.
Right. And you as fans, you want, if you really care
It's
about
like
Zach,
saying,
you want him to go
it's
back
like
to that?
saying, Saggy, you were emotionally, albeit physically abused by your past employer, but guess what? You did the job the best. I need you to go work there again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we shouldn't be demanding that of anybody, because we weren't the ones that were treated like that.
That's true.
We just sit in the theater and watch the movie, and we don't see what happens in between the time they roll action and between cut
That's true.
and what happens after that. We don't get that. Fans of this universe, fans of Zach's, they have the best intention. Their hearts are in the right place, but you can't tell that dude to go back and work there.
That's true.
His daughter, everything that happened with his daughter is scarred enough, right?
It's true.
And to the way that employer treated him during the hardest time, arguably the hardest time of his life. I mean, that would sour anybody.
Yeah.
And we have no fucking right to say that he should do anything.
That's true. Like, it would be nice. Like, don't get me wrong. It would be nice because Zach is he's very creative, right? He's very creative. He made, like, when we saw his cut, we realized why it was so amazing, much better than the first. But Tyler's right. Like, at the end of the day, would you want him to go back and work with these people who literally just fought him on just releasing the movie that he started in the first place, and it was a fight for him. I think it's fair to say, as much as I would love to see what he could do with the DCU, what he would be capable of doing, the stories he would tell. I think as fans of Zach alone, we should want him to move on and support his current works over on Netflix or whatever else he pursues in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I got to talk to Richard yesterday, and just talking to someone like that reminded me of, like, all the good things that come out of Zach. It doesn't matter what studio's making it. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I like his film. I like his style. I like everything about him. And before he worked with DC at all, I still liked his movies. After he's done with DC, I'm gonna like his movies still.
Yeah.
And as fans, we should understand that, right?
Yeah.
That some things just aren't meant to be. And it was a cool idea at first for Zach to build this foundation, and then for it to look like the tree of life after, where from Zach's foundation the branches were built. And it just didn't go that way. Not everything in life goes as planned, and we need to start getting on board with that.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, like I said, I understand everybody wants a good, when you see a good director produce something that you guys like, obviously you want to see more of it because you enjoyed it. But again, this was a situation where his hands were tied, that he really has no say or control over this because he doesn't own the IPs. But where he does have freedom and control is over on Netflix, which is what he's doing, which is why he's doing really good. I liked Army of the Dead. I like his thing. So again, if you guys are real good, if you are true fans of Zach, then
they'd be happy for him now.
Be happy for him. He's happy in a
Netflix was like, I'm sorry, like they probably wrote a blank check to this guy.
Right, put whatever you want on there.
Literally, here's a blank check. Get out, make that movie. And then you got to think about that experience, right? His first movie back since Autumn, Technically not counting Justice League because you know how that
Right,
went down.
right.
Yes, it could seem that Zack Snyder's Justice League was the first one, but in reality,
It was Army of the
it's
Dead.
not. His last movie with Warner Brothers versus his first one on Netflix, they are literal polar opposite treatments. So I wouldn't go back either.
Right, and Netflix is known for supporting the people who make their films. Like I said, I hate to use this excuse, but like cuties, like
Yeah,
they
Netflix
stood,
stuck by them.
yeah, they
I
stuck
remember
by,
this
yeah,
story.
they stuck by them because they actually do care about the companies making these films, regardless of how we feel about it. They stand by these people. Dave Chappelle, another example. When they put Dave Chappelle's show on Netflix, Dave Chappelle called and said, "Hey, Comedy Central's not paying me for this. You're putting this on your platform. I'm not getting a penny. Could you please take it down?" You know what Netflix did? Took it down. And then guess what? Comedy Central finally caved in and gave Dave Chappelle the rights to his show.
Yeah.
Netflix cares.
That's actually what I was. Remember, I told you I was listening to Dave?
Yeah.
That's what I was listening to him talk about. About how they. That whole situation's it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It is wild.
That they. You know when when Dave Chappelle signed that contract with Comedy Central in the beginning, he basically sold the rights to his name.
Yeah, he did.
So now he was like, I thought about doing another Chappelle show, but I couldn't call it the Chappelle Show. I'd have to call it. He couldn't even call it the Dave Chappelle Show.
Right.
It's too similar.
Right.
And so Comedy Central pretty much had him boxed into a corner. Like, sorry, kid, we own this. And he fought them and fought them and fought them. No, and the contract that he signed really did give it all away.
It did.
And he was like, no lawyer like would do anything. They're like, he was like, I was young, I signed the contract, I had a family to feed, and now it sucks. But yeah, he ended up getting it. So good for him.
Well, it was not. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Netflix treats their talent and their very well. Very well. And it shows.
Well, you know who they don't treat well? Because we can't just let them off the hook.
Wait, who don't they treat well?
This goes for all big studios.
Okay.
Every single one. Disney, Warner Brothers, my Netflix. Sorry. All of them. They do not treat all their employees well. The people that hold the boom mics.
Oh, yeah.
The people that coordinate scripts.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
Line producers. The crew, like the crew. They're about to go on strike because they work 14-hour days and get paid minimum wage.
No.
While the studio heads own private islands.
Oh, no. Netflix,
the person that this isn't just Netflix. You can't just say Netflix. Big studio, big Hollywood.
Big Hollywood, no.
Treat them. If you're not the talent, chances of you making big money are very slim.
I believe that.
So no, Hollywood is far from perfect.
Oh no, far.
And that includes Netflix as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
I think it's IASTE. Look into it. Look into
I'll
it.
have to look into that because
yeah. Caden, am I right? Caden, is it the IASTE?
Yeah, IATSE.
Oh, hi, Caden.
They also released. Hi, Saggy. They also released a big not ISATC, they released a big list of people that signed their strike, and it was Disney, Netflix, and those people that it was Disney, Netflix, Marvel, no Warner Brothers in sight. So
yeah.
So that I can tell you everything about that.
Yeah, these people should not be making minimum wage.
Oh no.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Jeff Loveness, who's working on Ant-Man 3 right now, he was during filming, literally one of our producer assistants who was coming late had to save a mom from a car crash. So, and now he has to go back straight to work. That shouldn't be the case.
Right.
He should be able to be paid because he just had a stressful morning, and now he's gonna have a stressful day of work now.
Yeah.
He should be paid for that.
And there's other things that go into it. If you talk to anyone on a film set, ask them if they've ever driven while tired. It's almost equivalent to driving drunk.
It's worse.
When you're drowsy driving, how many times you could potentially kill yourself or worse, someone else,
Yeah.
I guarantee you the film industry, 99.9% have can recall, vividly remember, or had something terrible happen as a result of that scenario being worked to the bone for weeks and months on end and almost killing themselves.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
they just
a lot.
updated the list of the people, and it does have Warner Brothers Pictures, television, animation, studio facilities, specialty
Oh.
productions, and video production. So, and Netflix is part of
Yikes!
it.
Yikes!
So
Hollywood, get your shit together.
it's like they're
It's
saying
pitiful.
Yeah.
it's like you have people like productions. Obviously, like I was saying, like there's productions that want this to happen, and need this to happen,
Yeah.
and then you have the studios that also want this to happen, but then you have the studios who want this to happen, but then they have a history of not doing that thing,
Right,
So it's
right,
like,
right,
what are you trying to say now? Are you trying to say sorry, and this is what we need to happen,
right.
or
So
you know,
that's why I definitely support the workers.
yeah.
I always support the workers in every situation, even like with the Amazon stuff. Like
Oh,
Jeff
and like the
Bezos is
whole
a
Cat
glorified
Logs thing
slave
too.
owner.
The whole okay, they're
Damn.
working 17 hours for 127 days
Yeah.
with only one, or like they'll work 17 hours for like 6 days a week without like a
Yes, without
payoff.
their need.
Only
Like
Sundays
OSHA
off.
has
Only Sunday
rules.
off.
Oh yeah.
OSHA has rules against these kind of things, except
Yeah,
for gig work and like stuff like that.
yeah,
There needs to be a certain amount of time off and on, like rest hours compared to work hours. I think you need at least 7 or 8 hours in between one shift. Exceptions can be made, but it needs to it needs to be okayed between both parties.
Right. But the sad thing though is that you have to work that much if you're making that little money so you can pay your bills.
And that's where the problem in lies.
Exactly. Because
right,
like that's why people work to death,
right. I
because
think
they don't
just
make enough money.
Friday, Gavin Newsom just signed like a big deal about raising the minimum wage here in California, and like,
So
it's
what
like,
can we do?
what can we
Not
do as
us support them and
how can we support them is by signing the petition on
okay.
their website, by tweeting out hashtag IATSE solidarity, tweeting out the petition, and sharing it with your friends and family,
Right,
sharing it with your enemies too,
talking about it, right? Like
talking about it,
this. Yeah.
and just like, and when someone does, like a writer or a producer, tweet out a story about a PA or someone doing something crazy and working a crazy day,
Yep.
retweet that story. So
Yep.
then it gets out. So it's like, hey, this person's working a lot and also has a stressful life. They need to be paid more.
Yep.
And
I'm fortunate. You know what I mean? I am. I'm fortunate that I get to do this
Right.
right,
basically on my own time.
Yeah.
And if it makes money, then it makes money. If it doesn't, I'll be fine. I make very good money doing what I do.
Yeah.
But that's not the case for everybody.
No.
Nope.
It's not.
So
and again, and the thing, it's like, if again, there's certain professions that won't be at risk because of the strike. The
like imagine
Canadian productions are at risk. The U.S. productions are at risk, but the ones that are outside, like if they're filming all the way in Europe,
right.
they're fine. They're just like,
Right.
okay. But if they're filming in North America, then that's the productions that will be on pause for 2 weeks, I believe.
Imagine, all right, like PAs, like I don't know. I'm not saying every job in filmmaking should be like $25-$30 an hour.
No,
But like if you're like a line producer and you look up at the studio head who owns a private island and you can't afford an apartment in the state that you work in, that's
especially
an
if you're
issue.
handling all the budget, making sure everyone's staying in line of the budget.
Right.
As a line producer,
Like if you can't afford an apartment to afford to live in the state that you work in, there's probably an issue.
yeah.
Right. No, that's true.
And that's the other thing, like that. It's you know,
It really does. It
work
makes me
my
sick, the treat-
my
work
dad
the
and my
treatment.
aunts who
Yeah.
work in casting, and casting is a lot more than just casting an actor. They have to make sure they have a per diem and make sure they have a house that they're staying in where they're filming. It's a lot more than
Yeah.
just, oh, this actor is signed on their contract and go to the place. No, it's a lot more. And
Yes.
so it's the same thing for the people who hire the producer assistants and line producers. They
Yeah.
have to make sure that they get the per diem that need. If it's $100 a day, then give them $100 a day
Yeah.
as their per diem, and then they're 17 hours, $17 an hour, which
Yeah.
Yep.
isn't a lot.
It's
And
not.
No.
It's not. I
and
think the federal
but for
minimum wage is
producer
the issue.
assistants, I think producers assistants and line producers are the things that should be high prioritized because they are dealing with everyday things.
Yeah.
The producer assistants are actors assistants. They're the director's assistants. They're like everyone's assistant. They get grabbing coffee. They're grabbing groceries if needed. They're grabbing materials that
dry
they're
cleaning.
they're going everywhere. They're like it's like they're doing everything that they're doing, handling themselves, and they're handling 3 other people.
Yep.
So
Kaden,
it's like, so
I-
yeah, it's a lot.
I have a very important question for you, Kaden. Who's in your bathroom right now?
No one.
You knew it was coming.
I didn't actually. I
knew it was
really
coming.
didn't. I didn't.
Oh,
knew it
you
was
gave me that look like you
No,
knew.
I was like, what kind of question is this gonna be?
He's like, all right, listen, this is our first like show together on here, and like he's already scared of the things I'm gonna say.
No. But we are at that time.
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Wow.
hour and 50.
Oh, no
Not
kidding.
bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. I'm gonna try to keep it right under 2 hours each time.
Yeah, because we gotta
Um,
eat, y'all.
Kaden, thank you so much for filling it, coming in and let me
Yeah,
know
no
that.
problem.
Thank
all
you,
right.
Kaden.
But yeah, so that will do it for today. Saggy, where can people find you when you're not here?
Saggy Melonz with a Z for melons. That's my channel where I talk about things and stuff, and not like this, mostly drama and things that may be
Yeah,
interesting.
more geeks and gamers. Bullshit.
Oh yeah.
But no, your Twitter link and all that. Anyone who does work with the show, the Twitter link is in the description below, and I'll start putting everyone's YouTube as well if they do have it. But yeah, it's also right there, right below her name, but it's also in the description as a clickable link. And you can follow us, the show, on all social media platforms. As always, guys, I do want to say thank you for being here today. These past couple weeks, now that Saggy's joining, like when we're in the same room, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been. Make sure to like the stream, like the show, and then share it so other people can watch too. Because don't be selfish. Don't be a selfish.
Yeah.
And if it's your first time here, welcome and thank you for joining. Consider hitting that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. It's very hard to concentrate when you're doing stuff like that.
I'm trying to be like part of the outro thing.
All right. But yeah. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. No, you can do it. I'm trying to focus. I'll just focus right here. And ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Consider supporting the channel because I am locked out and can't monetize anything by sending a super chat and/or joining the membership because I'll still get paid. I just can't go in and affect anything. So until we can get that resolved, you guys are my best hope and my last hope. Yes, truly, we appreciate you all, and we do it for you. We do it for the culture.
I don't know what that was.
Let's see if Kaden will bring us out anytime soon.
Bye.